Okay, we're going to talk about wrestling instead now. There's something with this John Cena debate that goes on here a lot, and there's a term that I hear a lot in wrestling and in MMA and in boxing, and there's a term that I hear used in reference to John Cena. And before people want to jump on me and the C Nation want to kill me and all of that, this is not a John Cena bashing video. Actually, this is me discussing something that I hear a lot of people say that I want to dispute and I want to debate about. Now, every time people talk about Cena, they always say the same thing. He's a draw. Now, to me, when you use the term a draw, when you use that term, to me, it means something different to what maybe other people will say. Now, I've heard, I think Truth Slayer call him that. I've heard a lot of people on YouTube call him that. A lot of people on the internet call him that. To me, Cena is a big star in the WWE. To me, he's a heavily promoted star in the WWE. To me, he's a very integral part of the WWE programming. But when you want to use the term draw, that becomes debatable. Now, I will say this. If we're going to talk about merchandise, yes. If we want to talk about merchandise and t-shirts and things like that, then I would probably not argue with anyone. He clearly does draw in that market. People buy his figures, people buy his t-shirts, people buy any, those kind of things. But when it comes to pay-per-view and ratings, I don't think he makes that much of a difference. I think if he was off, then maybe the number would go down slightly. But here's the thing. I think he's one of those guys that people care about him. But if you put him in it, but it's not like when you put The Rock out there or Steve Austin or Brock Lesnar, I mean in UFC, who's like a monster draw. People will pay to see him regardless, whoever is fighting. With Cena, to me, you have to put him with a certain type of person to draw a certain number. Now, I'm going to debate this. I've been debating this for a while because 2008, when he was injured after SummerSlam, um, and then Survivor Series, the big pay-per-view was built around John Cena's return, and that was so heavily promoted for about 5 to 6 weeks. Everybody was talking about it. No, not everybody, but I mean within the company, it was so heavily promoted. And then when the pay-per-view came out, the number for Survivor Series was less than the previous years. Now that's interesting to me. Um, to me, again, I've said it before, the monster draws are guys that not just in merchandising, not just action figures and things like that, and not just how they promote, they heavily promoted this is our star, this is our star. To me, it also means that when you put that one name out there, everyone is going to pay to see it. I think Brock Lesnar makes a huge difference to any UFC pay-per-view that he's on. If he wasn't on the previous UFC pay-per-view that he was on, I highly doubt people would care as much as the last card. The same thing with Tito Ortiz when he was at the peak of his drawing power. You could put him on any card and people wanted to pay to see him. The same thing with possibly Manny Pacquiao in boxing, let me think of another name. Manny Pacquiao, Ricky Hatton, and Oscar De La Hoya. As soon as you put them on any card, they make a huge difference. To me, Cena isn't that kind of a draw. To me, Cena is, as I'm repeating myself, you have to put him in the right kind of program, and you have to promote it a certain way for people to really get into it with him. Uh, to me, Steve Austin was a huge draw. The Rock, I said already. Hogan was another one. Goldberg, to an extent, was another one. Bob Sapp was another name. In fact, the Bob Sapp craze was crazy in Japan. You could put him on almost anything and people were paying to see him. People were buying what he was selling. It was nuts. But to me, Cena isn't that kind of draw yet. And to me, I think, well, he's not become that big crossover mainstream star that they hoped that he would be. Not saying that he's not a star, but to me, that's just something I wanted to get out there. Um, I probably am going to get bashed. I don't mind. But let's debate this. It's probably going to be an ongoing discussion here. So what do the people out there think? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you not see what I'm saying? Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know. Hit me up. Message me. I'm not going to block you unlike other people. Spin it out. So, yeah, let me know what you think. Take care.